how foolishly mistaken he is to delay paying his obligations, turn mitzvahs, until he has material prosperity. Okay. So it says the Chavos V'ra'isi laharos penei sechlusam v'ta'usam bedas hazos v'shivan yonim agala behem godel ta'usam v'im ya'aruchu devarenu v'avur sheyesh v'zemen habiyush v'hatochachaz l'balei hadei hazos. I have seen that it is necessary to expose with 7 points the foolishness and errors of those people who engage in this way of thinking. Although we will need to elaborate on this, it is nonetheless important to do so because the following 7 points contain substance with which to embarrass and rebuke the people who have this way of thinking. Okay. We're going to awaken ourselves. V'hemkat Balei Hamashkonos, these people are called, this is the way the Baal Chavos explains it, the sect of owners of security pledges. Right? As they explain here, they don't trust that God will take care of them, so they take a security pledge, a mashkon. Right? If you lend somebody money, you ask that person that you lend them $1 million, whatever it is, $1,000, and you say, listen, I want your watch. In case you don't pay me back, I have your watch. So what is that? What does that inherently means? I don't trust you. I mean, I love you, but I want my money back, so I need to make sure of that. They don't trust that God will take care of them, so they take a security pledge from him, a guarantee that if they live a long life, they'll have what they need only when they have their security pledge in hand, meaning that they feel confident of having enough wealth and enough other inyanim of gashmias for the rest of their lives. Then, right, do they turn to give God what they owe him, namely the observance of the mitzvahs. First you give me a Kadosh Baruch Hu, you guarantee me, and then I will serve you. Inyana bezeh ke'inyan hasochesh hu mocher ba'ashrai l'mi she'enu ma'amino v'mashkeneu be'ez hamecher m'nei yiraso mimiut emunaso v'shalo simsa yadu lefar. Their conduct towards God is akin to a merchant who sells on credit to a person whom he does not trust to pay. He therefore takes a security pledge at the time of the sale out of fear that the buyer can't be trusted, that the buyer won't be able to pay for the merchandise that he purchased. Everybody, simple so far. The person who concerns himself with his obligations only after he has material prosperity doesn't trust that God will pay him in return for his services of God, and he therefore takes a security pledge from him in advance. And now he's going to go on and explain 7 ways that this person is flawed in his thinking. But in order to, I think, properly get into the sugya, we have to get into the mind of this person, of this mashkon guy. Now to do that, we're going to get into his mind, but in a little bit of an exaggerated way. Because we need some entertainment. Yeah, oh, yes, you. The from guy over here.
I've been listening forever, I guess. We're following like a linear path here for this guy who's working at the Tachon. This seems like way below where we're at right now. Like if the Baal Bitachon at this point is coming up with this mindset, he fell off a cliff essentially.
Well, I don't know if in this chapter we're talking about the Baal Bitachon. We're talking. Remember in the last chapter we were going back and forth between the Baal Bitachon, the non-Baal Bitachon. So we're really going for that guy. We're still building. In the world of Bitachon, we built out the Yesodos. We drew it down up till the 4th parak, and then we really essentially finished what the Baal Bitachon looks like. In the 5th parak, we were comparing Viter, what he looks like. We're not going deeper. We're comparing to the other person. Now we're going more into that, which will help us because even the Baal Bitachon always has little nekudos that he has to work on. And we're going to point those out as we go along, right? We could always fine-tune our systems. So we'll exaggerate a little bit, but what I don't want is that a person thinks that this mashkon guy is only my exaggeration. Meaning, I'm going to make it really mikatz al katz. I'm going to go really far in this, how rude and obnoxious this person is. But we have to understand that even if we have a little bit of this, it means that we have fallen into this security pledge type of guy. And also, of course, I'm going to speak it out in a way that this guy is speaking, or in fact, most of us don't ever speak any of these inyanim out. It's always in our head, right? So just because we don't say these things out loud doesn't mean we're not thinking about them. And if we are thinking about them, that means we are lacking bitachon in this area, and therefore we have to be cognizant of that and work on it. Okay, so let's get into the mentality. At least level one. Could be we'll work on this more as we go along. So I wrote up this little script this morning. Let's put this aside for a second. So let's get into his mentality. So this person, he thinks, right? He's been alive for however long, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. I work for Kodesh Baruch Hu. Keep Torah mitzvahs. I raise a home, buy kosher food. Right? From family, send them to schools. Expensive. High tuitions. I spend, a lot of money on kosher food. But I'm doing this for you, Kodesh Baruch Hu. I'm doing it. You're the boss. It's all for the boss, right? I do it for the boss. Now, I deserve payment for my work. I'm working hard. It's not simple, I have to get up early, put on tefillin, I have to daven. A non-Jew can roll out of bed and just roll into work. Especially nowadays, they don't even wear suits anymore. They can just roll in their pajamas. Me, I have to get up, I have to get dressed, I'm going to go to the mikveh. It's a lot of stuff. So, I deserve payment for that. I expect payment for that. But not only that, I want the payment. I demand the payment to be in the time that I want it to be, in the form that I want it to be, and without any interruption. But I want the payment to be on time. Don't make me wait for it. I want the payment to be, liquid. Don't give me something that I'm only going to be able to get it, in 5 years from now. I want a liquid. I want cash. And I don't want any. Don't make any breaks. Don't give me this. We don't have enough to pay you this month. I will get you next month. I don't want any of that stuff. I want to know. Listen, I'm a doctor. I spent a lot of years training. How many years I had to work on preparing to become a doctor? I want to get paid for what I do. Just like that, I serve you, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Give me everything. Guy's a lawyer. So weiter. What's his mentality? I spent so many sleepless nights in the office. So I've served you until now, Kadosh Baruch Hu, so I get paid. Yeah. I want the money. I'm a Rebbe. Kadosh Baruch Hu, I teach your children Torah. I'm working. I'm doing for you. I'm there for you. So it makes sense that I should get what I want, how I want it, when I want it. No. Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm a good guy. Right? I learn. I daven. I keep your rules. I've been doing it for many years. We're not just waking up. I'm doing it for many years. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm good for it. I'm good for it. I'm going to keep serving you. You could trust me. Right? You can trust me that I'm going to keep doing it. So therefore, I want it to be that I'm never lacking in any area. I don't want to ever have any doubts where my money is coming from. I don't want to have any doubts in how my children are going to turn out. Nothing. I want the payment now. Everything should be good, easy. If I want it to be sunny, it should be sunny. Right? According to my thoughts and my calculations, because this is. And if you don't, then I'm going to be upset. I'm going to complain. Because what's the Kodesh Baruch Hu? Listen. I know you're on a big ship over here. You got a lot of people to worry about. But I fear, perhaps, maybe, that you're not, because you're so busy, you're not going to pay me in a satisfactory way that I would appreciate, and a satisfactory time that I deserve, that I expect, that I, want and demand, really. And if I don't get the way I want it, then I'm going to feel uncomfortable. I'm going to feel scared. I might feel worried, nervous, stressed, and that's not fair. I should never have to feel anything other than calm, happy. Of course, that's not fair. I work so hard for you. 3 times a day I daven, I put on tefillin, I give tzedakah, I raise my family. And then there's a lot of people who are not doing as good as I'm doing. So, I don't think it's fair. And it's a little bit, it's like, how dare you? How dare you not give me what I think I deserve and make me feel uncomfortable? That's just not appropriate, really. Kodesh Baruch, I don't mean to say, but that's just it's just not nice. I thought you're a loving God. You know what? I don't want to say this, Kodesh Baruch, but if this goes on, I might have to go on Google reviews and give you 2 stars. You know, rate God, I'll give you 2 stars. Yeah, you give me stuff. I'm not going to deny you. Of course, you give me life until now, so I'm going to give you 2 stars. But more than that, I can't give. I'm going to tell people. I'm going to go to daven. I'm going to look droopy. I'm not going to daven with enthusiasm. I might even skip long tachanan. I might even go to minyan 1 day a week. Because if you don't give me, I'm not going to give you. Simple as that. Gosh, this is how it goes. If you don't give me the way I like it, then I'm not going to keep putting my energy in every single day. How's that fair? It just doesn't sound nice. Listen, this is not how you treat your servants. I know how to treat servants because I run a company also. I run a family. I know how to treat people. And if you don't give me the way I want it, then I might be cranky. And I might be cranky towards other people. And all my stress might come out on other people. And I don't care. I'm going to blame it on you. You know why I'm upset? You know why I can't be a proper father and a proper husband and give the proper ahava? Because it's your fault. If you'd give me the money, then I'd be happy. If you wouldn't make me feel uncomfortable, then I'd be perfect. Always. I'd always be doing everything perfectly. It's your fault. Is anybody getting uncomfortable in the room?
Way beyond that.
I don't know what else to say it. Imagine your kid. Imagine your kid. I'm not talking about a 10-year-old. Imagine your 17-year-old said like this to you. I'm done. I'm not doing anything for you anymore. They probably do say this. Until they just don't say it. They think it. Until you give me every single last thing that I want. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want the car. I want this clothing. I want this entertainment. Otherwise, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to go to bed on time. I'm not going to brush my teeth. I'm going to be cranky. I'm going to be moody. And if I am moody, it's your fault because you didn't give me what I wanted. How dare you, my parents? I didn't ask to be born. You gave birth to me. Anybody ever hear that kid say that? Come on. You're too young. Don't worry. You're too young.
Let's go.
You'll know how to deal with it then.
I'm in.
We say it to Kodesh Baruch, I didn't ask to be born. You gave me this life. And now I'm here. I'm not asking to take it away, but listen, you gave me this life. So I think my life should be a little bit better. So I think I'm a good guy. And if we don't think that some of these things in a slight way, not with such obnoxious language, that none of this flows through our heads, I would say that we're out to lunch. Because people have these thoughts. Not as extreme, potentially.
There's the content and there's the delivery. The content can be a Kodesh Baruch Hu, I'm asking for these things, I want these things. And the way that we've been learning for years now, in the right way, you can ask. You can have not expectation, you can ask. You can ask Kodesh Baruch Hu, this would be helpful. And then if it doesn't work out, and so that's where the difference is.
Of course, but this guy's not. That's of course. We're talking about.
Because the content is, I don't have a problem with the content. I have a problem with the delivery.
Are you talking about me or are you talking about you? The content? No, this is not good content. This is not good. You're demanding. You're expecting. No. I'm upset. I'm blaming. No, that's not good content.
The deliveries, I'm demanding, I'm blaming, I'm expecting. The content is not Kodesh Baruch Hu. I would love to have this.
That's a different person. That's not this guy.
Oh, okay.
That's not the same guy.
Okay.
This guy's upset. He's bothered. He's not saying those words. It comes out in his emotions. It comes out in his stress. You've never heard a person that I shouldn't be stressed. I've heard very good people. They're good people. I'm not saying people are bad, but they're living in their own world. I shouldn't be stressed. The Shon is like that. Because you should give me the money. I shouldn't have to feel stressed. First of all, who told you to feel stressed? This is the big nikud. Who said you have to feel stressed or be upset? Oh, because you didn't get what you want. Therefore, you're stressed. Well, who said you had to want that? Or who said? This is what we have to get to. So it's a sum up for right now. It's the Kodesh Baruch Hu, give me my demands in full. right now, and then I'll be happy to serve you. So you give me what I want, and then I'll give you what you want. And if you don't give me what I want, then I told you, my Avodas Hashem is going to slack. I'll still daven 3 times a day, most days. I probably won't learn so much anymore. I have to daven because people see me in shul, so I have to save face. Learning, maybe, but I'm not going to be a happy person. How can I be a happy person when you're not giving me what I want? It's not fair to ask of me. I should go above. I should be selfless. That's not fair. So this person has some serious issues. He doubts HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? He doubts that he's going to get what he needs to live. Because he thinks he knows what is good for him and how he has to live, and therefore he doesn't know if HaKadosh Baruch Hu can provide that for him. He lives in fear and worry, this person. When you live in fear and worry, the emotions get stronger. I was just talking about this yesterday. It just goes on with kids. So let's say you have one kid, and they have a candy. It's Shabbos, the whole day is candy, right? So the kid has a candy, and one of their siblings wants to have fun with them, so they grab the candy out of their hand. Classic situation. What does kid one who got the candy got to take it away? What's the reaction? Babe, what happens? Scream, attack. I mean, and depending on the person, we're talking about serious trauma. Like screaming like they got stabbed or something. Someone took a candy, screaming. Why? Because at that moment they fear that candy is gone. That there's someone's going to eat it. And the emes is, I would say 99% of the time, the second sibling is never actually going to eat the candy. Ever. Whether you scream at him or not. They're just doing it to bother their sibling. But the fear creates this extreme drama to whatever level of fear there is. If the kid didn't fear at all, if the kid knew, he's going to give it back. So we just ignore. That's what I try to teach my kids. Just ignore them and it all goes away. Right? They're trying to instill fear. And therefore, when you react that way, then they win and they're going to continue running around with it. If you ignore them, it's like, okay, it's game over. So when a person has a fear, more than just a worry, a fear that he's not going to have what he deserves, not just needs, but deserves, expects, wants, the emotions get louder. The stress becomes even more stressful. Now, people could stress. There's a madrega of stressing that's not, inappropriate. We're humans, but there's sometimes where it goes above and beyond the proper threshold. It becomes like then it comes out in the dibur. You can't really control. If it was just a little bit of stress, you could hold it in your heart. You could deal with it, and it passes. But when it starts shaking up the whole system, and it goes into your ruchnis, and it goes into your relationships, and it comes out of you this, and you can't properly process, it's gone too far. And that's coming from these people who are fearful. Person is living according to his desires. Like this person is doubting in the Kodesh Baruch Hu. He has these tremendous fears and worries, and he's living according to his own desires. We're going to see. The Chavos is going to explain all this. Just being mocked. Let me ask you a question. This guy, does he have Amunah or no Amunah? Just ask him. What do you think? Amunah.
High level of Amunah.
He could. Lav Dafka, but he could. He could have a very high level of Amunah.
Good.
He's so upset at Kodesh Baruch Hu because he knows that it's really on him. But what's his bitachon level?
0.
I want to point that out. Just important to know. You can have a level of Amunah because you know Kodesh Baruch Hu runs the world, but you can still be upset at him because you're lacking bitachon. It's just important to know that distinction. I'm not saying he's not a mama. He's just not about bitachon. Right? Bitachon is mashkon is an Indian of bitachon. That's what it is. I want you to guarantee your guarantees. I want to see it in writing. I need to feel it. That's what this person's saying. I want to see it.
I think the candy is about fear. It's a little off point when it's bothering.
So we're in the parentheses right now. Yeah.
Yeah, big parentheses. When a kid takes the other kid's candy, I don't think it's a fear of not getting it back. I think that's it's something much deeper. To us, we look at it as just the candy, but if somebody took something from us that's very large or plays a big role in our lives, what?
He took its money.
Yeah, it goes to someplace much deeper than that, and it's and I've seen this and experienced it with my children. It can be very damaging to just say ignore. It's true, ignore does sort of de-escalate the situation. They'll probably end up getting it back, but even after they get it back, there's still something missing. Something was damaged there, and it needs to be repaired. And just getting the candy back doesn't fully repair it.
Okay, we're gonna end parentheses right now, and this conversation is not for now.
Off point.
Delete the past 2 minutes. Not for now. Mamish, not for now. Okay. Yeah. So this person's ability to be happy, calm, right? This person, the Balamashkin guy. There's a lot of rules and conditions attached to it. There's a lot of rules and right? That's attached to this for him to be happy and calm, because it has to go in his way. We've spoken about this. I'm just chazing over because that's what the Chavos is doing here. And even a Kadosh Baruch Hu might say to this Baal Mashkan, I'm gonna forget about this guy. I can't deal with this guy. Because Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I've already given this guy. Right? You're working for me, Kadosh Baruch Hu says to the Baal Mashkan, not because I owe you money afterwards, I already paid you. Because you're alive. And you've had the past 20, 30 years of all that stuff that you've had. Just because you don't appreciate that, that's not my problem as a Kadosh Baruch Hu. If I would continue to give you and continue to give you, I'm going to create a spoiled keli, which obviously I did already. So what Kadosh Baruch Hu says, the only way maybe to deal with you is to actually not give you, to pull back from giving you, which doesn't always work either, because then this person is, if he's so out to lunch, he's going to get upset that he's not getting what he thinks he deserves, and then how do you train this person? It's not a simple thing. It's not a simple thing how to train this person. Okay, we'll end for that for right now. Let's go back into the Sefer. So now let's talk about the flaws. Now the Chovos is going to explain the flaws. We were alluding to a lot of them, but it's all based on him. On page 223, V'harishon me'ofnei hatshuva alav shenomar lo. Ata ha'isha mistapek b'gezer sabor v'she'einenu ma'amin b'godel atzmaso asher choshach or sichlo v'choven ner tivunaso b'gvur afelas ta'avaso alav. We have to read this, and then we're going to be medayik. The first response we say to such a person is this: you're a person who doubts. This they added, if all a person's needs have been preordained by the decree of the Creator, or you could just read it: you are a person who doubts the Creator and who doesn't believe in the greatness of God's strength and ability. You're a person whose light of intellect has been darkened and whose candle of understanding has been extinguished due to the darkness of your desires overcoming you. So he said a lot of things over here. So what are the flaws here? Number one, he doubts HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's clear. He might not think that, but we're analyzing this person from the outside. In his head, he doesn't believe that. I'm not doubting HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What do you mean? I believe in him 100%, but I work hard, so I should get it. But we're analyzing from the outside. So therefore, number one, he doubts HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ability to take care of him. He doesn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's strength. Right? One of the 7 conditions is.
Why
see something going on over here.
Why would it be anything other than I believe in your strength, I believe in your ability, I believe in everything. I just don't believe that you're wanting to take care of me. I would tackle that of the 7 principles
First.
Yeah.
That might be part of the doubts.
And listen, if we've established that he has a muna, right? If he has a muna, what's missing over here is, I know you can, but you're not taking care of me. You're the man, you God, you created everything, but you're not taking care of me.
Okay, I'm gonna.
All right, we don't.
No, it's good. It's good. I have to. What I need to do is I need to go through all of them. Well, again, I haven't gone through them again, all of them. And I need to see the flow that he's using. I don't know right now. I don't know. And that may be well of an answer to the question. I understand what you're asking. We have to see that. I have to see where he's going with this. Bottom, the top, the bottom. I'm not sure. I understand. So we'll go basic now. So then, let's be like. Number one, he doubts. He doesn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's greatness, and he's saying a deep point at the end here. Why is this person? He goes and he says poetically, whose light of intellect has been darkened. This person is being foolish. He's not able to think straight. His candle of understanding has been extinguished. He's just not a straight thinker. Why? Taivas. That's what he's saying. Taivas. Right? That's what he says here. Your desire. Afelos ta'avasu olav. Now, what desire do you think he means over here? Now we can go deep. Which desire do you think he means over here? Which desire is blinding this person?
Desire of control. Desire/control.
Now, schar means money, stuff, right?
I deserve.
So,
Desire to.
it's on a basic level, this person is demanding schar from a Kadosh Baruch Hu now, right? So you could say that's the taiva he's talking about, because you want this schar, and that's messing up your thought process. I think that's the base level. But what's maybe deeper? What's the taiva maybe? And this is a little bit. That's the Pashup Shot. I think that's right. That's correct.
The gaiva?
So potentially, I think gaiva could be considered a type of taiva. I don't think people speak about it this way, but a desire for things to go his way. Would you say that's considered a taiva? Called gaiva taiva? They rhyme, no? What else? These are all good. These are important. It's important. I think the important to a person, if he's going to go into himself, he's going to, right? If a person catches himself being a little bit upset, he's a little bit stressed, he's bothered by what he didn't receive something. So we've taught, the way only this is going to work is if you stop and you start to analyze, where's this coming from?
He has a desire for beloved. In a certain sense.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, but that's not this.
I know. Desire to have menuchas and nefesh, but the wrong way.
Yeah, this guy, we're not upset at him necessarily. In Chassidus world, we know that he means well. It's just off base. Yes, he's looking for emunah b'tachon. He wants to be secure. Just looking for it in the wrong places. Right, which is important because if we do catch ourselves in this way, we don't ever want to put ourselves down. That's not the mahalach of motivation. Adrabah, want to realign the shefa. So a person, I think, has a very deep desire. I don't know, maybe we could coin this something, to be comfortable. It could come from the same place as the.
Yeah.
He wants to be comfortable. He just wants to be just. Everything just go the way it's supposed to go. I don't want anything. I don't want like I was making fun with this guy. I don't want to have to worry about anything. I want it to be comfortable because worrying is not comfortable. It's not comfortable emotionally. I don't have to work any harder because that's physically uncomfortable. I don't want to have to challenge myself in thinking, trying to come up with some good excuse, good reason, because that's also uncomfortable. I don't know if there's a good word for this. B'shrius libeilech maybe, which is an Indian gaiva, I guess. Yeah.
This is a distinction between tainug and menuchas and nefesh.
Speak up what you're saying.
Meaning that menuchas and nefesh, which is what we're going for with good bitachon, is one thing. Tainug is what he's saying here. That's what the taiva is. I just want everything to just.
You're calling it tainig. Okay.
A tainig, which is different than menuchas and nefesh. Because menuchas and nefesh means you're balancing everything. You get everything, and you can go through something, even if it's difficult. You'll go through it in a different way. Tainug means just everything is just going.
Okay, I'm saying you're calling that tainig. That's fine.
So I'm saying that's what we're saying here. That his taiva here is for the tainug, not for necessarily the menuchas nefesh, because the menuchas nefesh is technically, if thought about the right way, is nothing wrong.
Okay, tainig could also be that word tainig is just
I thought when you said Shaar, at the beginning, that's all we want.
What do you say?
The light in the sun.
Right, that's why I said the word. That's why the word tainig. That's not. You have understanding with that. We don't want to use that word.
Okay.
Only because that word is tainig Shabbos. We don't want to use it in this connotation.
It's a desire for guarantee. That's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. Because that's what we're talking about here. Because people can learn B'tachon the wrong way, and they think, if you're Baal B'tachon, then you are guaranteed. People could learn like that. And there are people who learn like that.
They're guaranteed to get what they want.
Yeah. This is what and when you don't get it, what happens? this.
That's
I think it means the old-fashioned Musar Shmuel's definition of time.
I think on a basic level for sure.
Yeah, and that's ultimately the deepest motivation of why we want what we want.
Wait, so now tell me, what is the old school Musar Shmuz definition of tithing? Now, what do you mean by that?
I mean, whatever the type it is, whether it's time is mammon, time is nashim, whatever that person's Indian is, that's what's ultimately motivating him for the meruchas nefesh that he wants, for the stuff that he wants that Hashem to give him. At the end of the day, that's what's motivating.
So again,
the most base physical desire.
That is definitely the most push-up shot of the word tithing. I'm not changing that. But like you just said, I want to point out, you said that he wants this money for what? Why does he want the money?
To get stuff.
To get stuff?
Yeah.
Why? Why does he want the stuff? Why does he want...
He doesn't want to worry.
I think he wants the security. I don't know if he wants.
Isn't there always something more? That's what I'm getting at. We've discussed this. Why do you want the money? Because I don't want to worry. Why do I want because I want this thing, because then this thing brings me covered. There's always something. I'm trying to say there's a superficial level of taiva for sure. That messes us up, but there's always something also underneath. And I'm not defining what that is. Right? A person could want money because he's worried. He doesn't want to feel worried. A person could want money because he's a Baal Gaiva and he wants people, or he's a Baal Kavan, he wants people to respect him. Right? There's different reasons why people have these taivas. And sometimes taivas are just pasha taivas. There is that. And that also makes a person blind. But just to understand, da'as yitzrecha, da'as tavasecha, it's good to know, to understand the taivas. Right? Every taiva is a sugya. If we only look at things superficially, right? If you would learn this all sefer very quickly, so you would get a little bit of bitachon, 100%. But you wouldn't get what you receive from learning Be'in for 2 years. Right? So again, that's the style that we're doing. We're trying to really break down everything. So yes, taiva, base level taiva, taiva's moment, taiva's notion, taiva's shena, taiva's comfort, whatever the taiva is. But a lot of times there's something even deeper. And that's really where the root. Right? Bitachon doesn't, if a person says, so we tell this guy, so be bal bitachon. Right? The answer to this is be a bal bitachon. Stop downing a kaddish, be a bal bitachon. Stop desiring money. Because that's against bitachon. I don't know if that's just going to work like that. Because I don't know if that's actually going to hit. But if you say that the reason that he wants the money is because he has a worry, now bitachon can connect to it. Does that make sense? Otherwise it can miss. Tell a guy, biha bitachon, work on yourself because this taivas achila is messing you up. What does bitachon have to do with my achila? Yeah, but if you're eating constantly because you're always you're a worry guy, I don't know.
Tastes good. What?
That's.
What do you need? Food is good. The sugar is this. It tastes good.
No, I know. So the point is that yes, there's just base taivas for no other reason potentially.
Lishma.
Yeah, lishma, l'te'avon.
Yeah.
L'te'avon. And yes, that's what he's talking about here also. 100%. I'm expanding. Let's go right there so I don't confuse anybody anymore.
Yeah.
I apologize. The only reason why a person denies God's power is because he gives into his desires. Okay. Different levels of desires. In truth, it should be apparent that all of a person's needs are in the hands of God. Hatov l'cha levakesh mashkon lekachto ela mere'acha v'chavercha asher ein lo reshus alecha v'lo mitzvasa overes. Next page. Alecha val hasachir kshu mistakir eitzel b'nei adam ein tov l'mashkin sochro b'sicharo kodem avodaso v'chol shekein ha'evid shlo yimashkin adonav kodem avodaso lo b'parnasaso kal v'chomer hanotzer shlo yimashkin yotzer kodem avodaso lo. Surely it is only appropriate for you to request and take a security pledge from your fellow or friend who has no jurisdiction over you and cannot give you orders. However, it is not appropriate for a paid worker who is hired by people to take a security pledge for his pay from his employer before he begins his work. People are going to say, yeah, but what about the people who work half and then they want half the pay and then they continue? But to demand it before fully, it would mean that you don't trust the person at all, which is a problem with that. All the more so will a servant not take a security pledge from his master for his livelihood before he has begun to work for his master. And all the more so that a created being will not take a security pledge from his creator before he even begins serving. Right? That would be inappropriate. But the problem is, and we're going to have to get into this, is that nobody who's learning the Sefer is saying to Kadosh Baruch Hu, I haven't worked for you yet, and I'm not going to work for you at all until you pay me. I think all of us have served the Kadosh Baruch Hu for some years now. We would never dare say such things. But so is there nothing to learn for us? Is this not for us at all? Or is there also a way that we can learn this appropriately for the people who have worked for years for Kadosh Baruch Hu and have proven, even through fiqh, even through difficulties, that we're not going to stop. We're still down 3 times a day, even if there's difficulties. Low tragedies, people still get up, they still go. Does this still apply to them or not? So we'll have to get into that. But let's just read one more paragraph. Kol shekin, sheyah is panav lavakish mashkan beparnasaso, kodem avodaso uvedom lezeh, amar kasev, halashem tignu lezos, am novel velo chacham. It is astonishing, because even when a servant serves his master with the intention of being rewarded after his work, it's considered improper. Now we're discussing, of course, of Hashem now. So it's not a person who working in business. To be working with the intention of the prize at the end, it's inappropriate. As the rabbi said in Pirkei Avos, third mission in all Pirkei Avos, do not be like servants who serve their master in order to receive a reward. That's not the appropriate mahalach. What's the appropriate mahalach? We'll talk. All the more so is it improper when a servant is so brazen-faced that he asks for a security pledge for his livelihood before he begins his work. Similarly, the verse states in Devarim, is this how you repay the Lord, your disgraceful, unwise people? So if we can't serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu even with the intention of Shaar, not the more so this guy who's demanding a security pledge beforehand is totally off. We understand. What is the proper way to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu? So the Mishnah says, serve him for without the intention of the reward. Which means what? Why? Why should we serve him? What's the motivation? Because he said so.
Told us that he's trustworthy, man on.
So it's coming from a trust? Or it's coming because we just do it?
No, it comes from trust.
Trust, the hava. Okay. Comes from emes.
I'm missing something here because we've learned it. And
I'm not necessarily asking to then uproot you. From Muna. Okay.
What's the alternative?
Well, what is the mission of Pirkei Avos? The third mission of all Pirkei Avos is, why is it telling us this? Come on, we're not like this. We serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu for reward. Because if we serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu for reward, we'd be out of it a long time ago. Because listen, I didn't get all the rewards that I want. So if that was my reason, I'd be out of it. So it can't be. It's not talking about us. I don't serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu for reward. I serve him l'shma. The question is, do we serve him l'shma?
There's a great distance between Almanach's Pras and Lishma. Because I'll speak only for myself. In the struggles, there's a wide range in between with a lot of struggles in this area and that area and the other area. So everybody wants to get to the Lishma, I hope. Doesn't always work out. But it's not all, Almanach Pras.
What's l'shma?
Because you you created me, you gave me everything that I have. I'm sorry, I'm getting it. I want to serve you. This is what you've asked me. That's the one thing that you asked of me.
Isn't that a definition of serving Kadosh Baruch Hu not for reward?
Yeah.
So it is. I'm not saying I'm not challenging. Just
you're asking why it's written because it should be so obvious. Is that what you asked?
No, I'm saying.
Why are they even saying it? Why does the mission even say it? Because it should be so obvious that it shouldn't be so. That's what I thought you were asking.
No, I'm not. I don't know if I'm asking it to be so obvious. I'm saying, are we living this way?
More or less. It's a wide spectrum.
Okay. let's pause. Let's pause right there.
What
No, nothing. Okay. Pause right there.
Something on sideways here. I'm just not understanding.
We're not all on your level.
No.
I'm certainly not on the level
Most
that
of
I'm
us are not
hoping to be on.
sufficient
No. I'm not on the level that I'm
without
hoping.
any preconditions. We all have conditions.
Chaim, of course, but I'm not on that level. But I'm